Hi, guys, and welcome back to Mystic Mamas. We're your host. I'm Dakota,
And I'm Danielle.
and we have been missing you guys. It's been a while. I just checked literally since September. I had done a podcast with my friend Chelsea a little after that, but with me and Dee, we haven't been here since September. And so there's a lot to catch all up on. And at the same time, we are just going to flow with whatever's coming to our hearts and share whatever we feel called to share. But first and foremost, I definitely missed you guys, and I definitely missed being on the podcast with you, Dee.
Yeah, same. It's the end of September feels like almost a lifetime ago, but so much has happened and I definitely missed the podcast. And at the same time, it was a really nice time to kind of take a step back and kind of be
Recalibrate.
away from
Yeah.
recalibrate's the perfect word. That's exactly what I was trying to say. But yeah, it was a nice little break and a good little reminder that breaks and taking a step back when you need to are super powerful and can really move you more forward than if you just keep pushing against the grain when you know you're getting every sign to kind of slow down.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually recently heard something on TikTok, or maybe it was a podcast I was listening to, and the girl was just saying, like, it's okay for our priorities to change. And that's kind of what happened here. Danielle and I both kind of focused on other things in our lives. For me personally, I won't speak for Danielle, I kind of really focused on my own business and really taking clients and hosting workshops and putting out freebies for you guys. And yeah, that's kind of where I have been at. Not only that, I really started to, I won't lie. We're always honest here. But I started to question the podcast. I started to question how much I wanted to um, show up as Mystic Mamas. I don't know if I've really told you this, Dee, but it was just like such a confliction in my head because I felt like my personal business was more so targeting women as a whole. I wasn't targeting mothers specifically. And so, although I love this platform and I love the outlet of it, obviously, because I am a mother, I was also just kind of teeter-tottering with what to do with Mystic Mamas and like where we should go and what we should do next. Um, and then, just as I'm questioning everything in my whole entire life, the universe likes to grant me pregnancy and being pregnant and having another baby. So that's also where I'm at in my life right now. I just recently found out that I am having a baby boy. Found out in January that I was pregnant. Or was it
Yeah.
December? December, I was pregnant. And recently, yeah, that I'm having a baby boy. Excited, very excited. Excited for obviously just to see the difference between Harper and the little boy. And then also very excited for a new addition to our family. I don't think, no, I didn't know if I ever wanted another one, right? Me and Danielle have talked about this on the podcast, I'm pretty sure. One is hard, especially when you come from unexpected motherhood, especially when you come from a lot of anxiety and depression and heaviness from your pregnancy and postpartum. And I didn't know if I ever wanted another one. It wasn't my choice. It was God's choice. It was the universe's choice. And that's how it planned out. I decided to, in December, start a GLP-1. I wanted to lose the baby weight I had been carrying and just, I felt like I was doing everything. I was eating clean. I was working out consistently, but I just really wasn't losing the weight. And so I wanted the extra help. And so I started semaglutide, which is kind of like Ozempic, but just a different strain of it. It really wasn't working for me. I didn't see any change. I think I dropped like 4 or 5 pounds, but then I wasn't dropping anything. And I was just trying to be patient with it. But then I also heard that you can be very, very fertile on it. Funny enough, Danielle and I even talked about that beforehand. And I was like, no, Danielle, chill. Fred and I did the deed. Okay. And let me tell you, he didn't even, come inside me. He didn't. It was just pre-cum, I'm assuming, because and yes, we should have used protection, I know, but this is my man. I decided to do that with him, okay? And yeah, I ended up getting pregnant. And when I first found out, just to tell you a little bit about that experience, that week I was just very hormonal. And actually the week before that, we were hosting a retreat at my house. About 6 women came. It was really beautiful. We had cacao ceremony and yoga and meditation, sound bath. It was beautiful. I had a really great time, but leading up to that, I noticed my stress levels were so high around it. I was stressing about everything. And whereas prior, I haven't been that stressed about creating offers or showing up online or doing workshops in person. So this was just like very different. I also was kind of chucking it up to, well, it's my house. I care about my house a lot. And I care about the people who are coming into my house. And, I just wanted things to be perfect. But like this was extreme for me. And so I noticed after that, right? After the whole retreat, I noticed my period didn't come. And I chucked it up to, oh, it's just late. It's not always on time. And then I just tossed and turned one night and was really thinking about it. And at 5 a.m., I got up. I don't get up at 5 a.m., by the way, ever. At 5 a.m., I got up, I took a pregnancy test, and sure enough, it was positive. And the first thing I did was cry. I definitely cried from shock and from not planning to this be my upcoming year. I really thought this was going to be the year where I buckled down and focused more on my business and started to make more income in my business and take on more clients and do bigger and better things than I was doing. And I am doing that, just in a different way. And yeah, I saw the pregnancy test. I woke up Fred and I said, I'm pregnant. He goes, you think you're pregnant? I'm like, no, bro, I'm pregnant. And I showed him the pregnancy test and he grabbed me and hugged me and I was crying. And he was like, because he knows how hard it was for me in pregnancy and postpartum. He understood how hard of, not an L, it's not an L, but I just took it very hard in general, like with the anxiety specifically and just the change in motherhood of going from maiden to mother. Like that was very hard for me. I didn't want to let go of my past. I didn't want to let go of all my friends and where I lived and all the things that I was previously doing. And so that was just very hard for me. But when he hugged me and he asked me how I was feeling, I was like crying. But I was like, actually, I'm really excited. And he hugged me even tighter. And he's always wanted a second baby. So he was excited. He got his
Yeah.
wish, his dream come
Yeah.
true. Not that it's not my dream. Now I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to being a boy mom, also just a mom to two instead of one. This was never in my plans, but neither was having the first one. So I know that if anything, this just means I'm about to fucking up level because that's what happened the first time. And that I'm very excited for. Yes. Am I going to be knocked off my feet and fucking crying and overwhelmed and overstimulated a lot of the time? Yeah, I know that. And also, I'll be kicking ass and I'll be taking names and I'll be doing all the
Okay.
things.
Slay.
I'll be feeling really good in motherhood. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at currently. Dee, where did you leave off?
um, Trying to think back. October was the beginning kind of a decline. When Daniel and I first moved here, he took a job that really gave a lot of promises, and slowly but surely those promises kind of started to drip down. And by October, his hours were already lower than they should be. So it became a very kind of stress level max. Like, should I go back to work and just figure things out, but we don't have daycare? It was a whole mix of like, my brain started to feel very, very back in that scarcity mindset and very, very worried about how we were going to not only make bills, but continue to do the things with the kid. Anytime you stress over money with a kid, it feels so much harder because you want to do all the things for them and have all the things for them and not worry about anything like that. And while I was dealing with that, I'm gonna be honest, after the election, I kind of crashed out a little.
Oh,
Had a
yeah, me
little
too.
crash out, and it wasn't that I was really questioning the podcast per se, but it was questioning everything. And it
Yeah.
was questioning how much of doing this is worth it when people are already so far gone, it felt like. And it was honestly a space where even being online for creating or for the business or making my own posts, everything felt so overwhelming online. Like, I would open my app to do something and just instantly check out. And it's like, I really struggled with being in that space, and kind of drowning in the scrolling became like for real doom scrolling, like actually doom. And it was
Waiting for doomsday, bro.
Yeah. And it was just so overwhelming. And every day it just got worse. So I took a step back and really needed to kind of be offline and in my own space. I did start my blog, which I was really proud of, and it was the outlet I felt most comfortable in. I had no words for the podcast. Dakota actually and I filmed an entire episode after the election and never posted it because it was just so charged and full of emotion, and we just didn't feel like we needed to really come in a space and speak from a more level-headed way. And it's just like I felt like I haven't had the words, but I could write. And so I really leaned more into my writing and releasing a couple of blog entries and kind of allowing that space to be my creative outlet in a way where I could kind of be online, but not really on any of the social media apps. I kind of stuck to Substack for a little bit and was like scrolling Substack and Threads a little and kind of exiting from Instagram and almost completely for a minute there. And that felt honestly really good. The break was well needed. And then we reached Christmas. The week of Christmas was the first week Daniel's job had no work for him at all. And it was Christmas, so, it was kind of a vibe. And we were like, hey, family Christmas week, we're here. We had family in town. And then the next week, they didn't have work. And then the next week, and it was honestly one of the biggest and hopefully my final lessons in surrender. Because that has been a recurring theme, and universe really put us in a way where we were no jobs, but bills coming and not enough savings to cover most of it. And it was a true lesson in trust and surrender, and really I'd never let go so much before in my life, but the combination of this country and all I was feeling emotionally and the stress of like, oh, wait, well, really, where is our next meal going to come from? Was just like, well, I have the worry. I got to stop. It's up. I finally just let go for the first time. I was like, you know what? It is what it is for the final time.
I will say though, you're the queen of surrender, D. Like you always have been. She's so good at this, guys. Like when I am in my head, like we got to do this, we got to do that, blah, blah, blah. She's like, everything's gonna work out, and just
I
trust the
also smoke
timing.
weed, so
Yeah, meanwhile I don't.
it's
So we know how
okay.
that goes. I take a
That's
lot of
helped me with
caffeine too.
that's helped me with the, you know what? Fuck it. Everything's gonna work out, babe. It's all gonna work out.
But
And I do carry a lot of receipts. Yeah, because
amazing.
I'm really good at looking at the receipts. I've been in some really, really weird pickles in my life, and I have managed to make it through. I'm very grateful and very blessed for the support and family members I have. We did not do this on our own. I was supported completely by family that came together for us, and side work that was given to us, and people that the universe literally sent like money here, money there, a job there, a job here. And then it just so happens that my dad was finishing up opening his restaurant. And I actually started going in there. I was cleaning. I was doing things because Daniel wasn't working. So we were able to kind of split Oliver now. And I started going to work for my dad as much. Daniel came and worked for him. We did a few little things. And then I ended up starting to work for him again. I have worked for him in the past. I have worked for my dad probably my entire life on and off. And his restaurant before was one of the best money makers I've ever made at. And so I was like, you know what? It's my time to shine. I'm going to hop back in here and hop out of retirement. And although I never saw myself going back to the service industry and bartending and waiting tables again, I feel like it was the universe kind of put us in a position where I had to, because I don't know that if Daniel had stayed at that job and hung on to his like bare minimum hours, if I probably would have just been like, no, because we don't have daycare. But going back to work for my dad brought an immediate influx of money. Not only were we able to catch up, but we were able to get ahead. And Oliver's now in full-time daycare. And I was able to let Daniel quit that job, stop stringing along, because I do think the energy of him holding on to those like 1 to 2 days a week, like literally for the past since Christmas, it's now March. He just quit last week, y'all. And or 2 weeks ago. I think it's been like 2 weeks, something really short
I
time
think so.
period like that. But he was
Oh,
getting
cool.
1 day a week. And it was so incredibly stressful because they would call him at like the night before, last minute, no matter what plans we had. And they were like, drop everything. You got to be at work tomorrow all day. And it's like, I was working, we have our kid, all these things. It was like every week I felt like I would get a schedule and I'm like, okay, well, am I even going to be able to work that schedule? Do I need to find daycare? Do I need to find my mom to pick up Oliver? What are we got to do? And it was just like, finally, I was like, you're holding on to this job and it's blocking anything else from coming your way. Something
Mm.
better is supposed to be coming your way, but you holding on to this one area is just blocking it. And he is one of those who doesn't want me to have to be work. He's a hard worker. He's not one that doesn't like to be moving on the time, to be providing. He's a natural provider. So I know it's been a struggle for him in this way. And at the same time, I'm also a natural born caregiver. So it has not been a burden to me at all to help my family in a different way. And low key, going back to work is a break. I have been thoroughly enjoying going back to work and having adult conversations and making money and being able to allow Daniel to quit and find a job that really like vet the next job. Because when we moved, we really just took what we could because we had to. And now it's like, take your time, find something that you really enjoy. And in the meantime, he gets to spend a lot more quality time with Oliver. It was for the first 2 years of Oliver's life, he worked almost nonstop and hardly he missed a lot. And now it's like we have this really relaxed vibe where I'm working a flexible job where I have multiple days off a week. We have them together right now. Oliver's in full-time daycare and he's really loving it. And we're able to have space in our relationship and in our life again. And it has been an incredibly stressful and crazy journey to get to this space, but I really truly feel like so much of myself is coming back in this, and so much of us as a couple is coming back in this, and us as a family, we're learning and growing. It has given me a better understanding of what he was going through, like when he would come home from a long shift and then immediately I would throw him into the fatherhood role because I was so tapped out. And like we've kind of now he's understanding all that goes into being home, the laundry, the dishes, the meal preps, the constant Oliver things, the constant groceries and meal preps. Like it's given us more of a whole understanding for each other's role and how much we've each sacrificed in that way, because it is hard. I'm as much as I love going to work, I've worked a lot this week and it's really showcased how much like he sacrifices time with everyone, because I go to work, I see Oliver as we drop him off at daycare, and then by the time I get home he's already asleep. So I can see more why it was really hard for him at work, and I was in that space where I used to look at it like, oh, he just gets a break. It's just that. But there's so much like emotional, like guilt that comes with being away at the same time. So I'm grateful for all the struggles that kind of led us to this space. It was a lot of lessons in a lot of ways. And being at work more has actually helped with the chaos of this country, because when I was home all day and scrolling and available to every news source that was coming my way, it was really mentally not doing well for me. So it's been nice to kind of have breaks. Don't get me wrong. I get off work and I'm like, what happened?
No, I feel you though, because I mean, you're less on there, dude. And even whenever, like, me not even working, but me working on, I mean, it is working, but working on my
Yeah.
business and just being so focused on creating, that also takes me away from my phone. And I feel so much better when I'm not constantly on my phone. I mean, we all know this, right? Like, there's just so much information that comes in that our nervous system can't keep up with all the information that we're receiving. And so then it makes us very dysregulated. And if we're constantly in that cycle, then we're not going to be in a regulated state. Whereas if you're stepping into your purpose or a passion or something that makes you feel good, whether that's a job that a job that Danielle enjoys right now, then that is going to be so helpful for your nervous system as well. And so, yeah, I'm really happy for you guys. I see it, and I love that, like, I'm also getting the lessons from you in a sense of like, yes, it is a break to go to work, and also there's guilt behind that. There's a lot of like missing moments behind that. It's not that I don't know that, but sometimes we forget it, right? It's because
Yeah.
we're so wrapped up in our own lives that we don't really think about our partner all the time. We just expect them to always be on, and you can't expect anyone to always be on, not even
Yeah.
myself. And that's like the point of, and the premise of this whole episode is like, I needed that break too. After the election, I was also freaking going through it, bro. I was questioning everything. The podcast, I was questioning what I was doing with my life, if I should even be doing it. What is all this worth? Like, what is all this, like, what are we doing this for? And, I just, obviously we have those moments that, but we can always come back and realize that, like, no, this is what we're called to deeply. This is what we want to do. And so I kind of changed. I tried to turn my like pain into passion, and I started to host rage rituals, and I really enjoy doing those. I've hosted two. And both of them were very different. The first one we did like actual raging. The second one we just did some like how to hold your anger and why anger is important to have. And because I think, the election brought a lot of freaking anger out of me, and I know D too, and a lot of women as well. We got our rights taken away. That's hard. Like, this is my body. It's my choice. I should have the ability to make whatever decisions I want about it. Not only that, I mean, there's so many other people have been affected, and breaks my heart daily still to this time, because I do look at my phone and there's more information each and every day. But one thing that I feel like, actually, I wonder, I'm like, is this me just getting used to the crazy fucking news? And I'm just
No,
like,
for real. It's the other day I was like, I forgot what like what had come across my feed, but it was almost like I was numb to it, and I was just like, well,
mm-hmm.
and it's a weird, really dystopian feeling to be like, oh, that tracks to something that should be in diabolical onion article. Like I
Bruh. And
can't
my
even
question each
fathom.
time, I can't fathom it either. My question each time is like, who's going to stop him?
What the fuck is going
Who's going
on?
to do something about this? Literally. And then it's just
Department.
like, throw my hands up in the air and wave them like I just don't care,
Yeah.
I guess. Like, and I feel like I was noticing a lot of creators and a lot of people, leaders that I looked up to, not saying much in the beginning. And that was a big part of, I feel like, both of our journeys, is like, we were just so shocked that nobody was acting like anything was changing when so much was changing and still is, right? It just like, the lack of care. But I almost feel like now I'm kind of like in that space where I understand where they're coming from. I'm just now trying to focus on how I can help the collective and how, I can move forward. But I also think that, with different backgrounds, each of us come with different things that we carry and the empathy that we hold. And so some of us hold more. And in the beginning, I mean, it's still to this day too. I have my moments. Last night I was crying over a TikTok I watched. So, but it's just like, it's harder for some of us, and some of us, it's easier for them to just go about their day, especially people with privilege. Let's be fucking honest here. People with privilege are,
Heavy on that part.
they don't care as much. Let's be honest. I mean, maybe they do, but they don't show it very much. And I think even not speaking out or reposting something on your platform or whatever you can do in the smallest way, I feel like that was really important at that time, and still is. I still be posting stuff on my platform,
Yes.
or creating rage rituals or creating circles so that you can be speaking about these topics in your containers. And so, yeah, I was just really shocked and, to be honest, disgusted that I wasn't seeing the people that I thought were leaders in the community get up and say anything.
It definitely had us both kind of questioning the authenticity of a lot of people, and how so many people, like, even though it won't affect them, they make their money off of an audience full of queer, trans women in general, especially those who literally profit off of these communities. And yet they have nothing to say when it comes to really real issues. And I don't think we have to shed light on every single thing that happens, because it can be so overwhelming. But to be dead radio silent was just really hard for, I know me, I know you, to witness with people that we truly looked up to, was something that truly will affect us all in such huge ways. And it just felt very inauthentic, and very much so why I needed to get offline, because it felt even more dystopian to have people trying to sell me things in the middle of other people literally distraught and crying in their cars because of what our future holds. And I also think that's a testament to being, or like a part of being moms, is
Mm-hmm.
we are future focused for more than just our own future, but our children. And she has a daughter, I have a son. We each have very different fears of very the same things in a lot of ways. And it's not a future that we want our children to grow up in. And I think before I had a kid, I was able to kind of disassociate from it and not feel like it's,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's not that bad. But now that I have someone, and not that it matters to more people or not, that moms are not, because I have friends that are very affected by this, no kids, no nothing, who are just as crushing out just as hard.
Yeah.
But I do know that it was extra heavy knowing that I had brought a child into this as well. That's a lot of mom guilt. It's been a lot of releasing emotions. I also have family members with very different, close family members with very different ideologies than me. And that's a heavy hit. I went through a moment where I didn't know if I should um, continue a relationship with some, or how much I need to distance myself from others, and or if I needed to push and show them the way, or try to enlighten them or educate them in different ways, because it's been a battle this whole time. I'm a headstrong, opinionated family member, and they know this. And it's like,
Same.
I'm exhausted at this point, but at the same time, like, to be exhausted by it is also a privilege, and I'm aware of that. And I'm aware of like my own role in needing to speak up in spaces that other people from those marginalized communities can't speak up in.
Mm.
It's been very overwhelming. All of it's been very overwhelming to not know exactly what the right thing or the wrong thing is to say, or when to be quiet and when to stand the fuck up. And also wanting to protect myself and my family, knowing that some of these things are dangerous. I live in a very red state, in a very, very red city, and some of them are scary. I don't know that I would want to put my everything out there in front of some of these people, because I'm not sure how they would react. And
Yeah.
I have a child, I'm a mother. I have to think about, same with going to, like, there was a protest. I'm like, I can't take my kid. I want to be sure he's safe, but I want to speak out. It's such a weird, it's all over the place. It's been all over the place, and I'm still trying to find my way and moving forward in it all. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree with you 100%. And I'm right there with you on the whole, like, how much do I show up? What do I say to not piss too many people off? And yeah, I mean, there was moments there where I was posting a lot on my platform about it and just sharing and reposting on my story, but I was triggering a lot of people. A lot of people got triggered in that time. I mean, specifically people who voted for him, and the name we shall
He
not
who must
name.
not be named.
Why are we like this? But yeah, and actually, I kind of wanted to touch on like what you said. There's a lot of guilt, like bringing a child into this world, and I think too, like I've been battling with that, bringing a second one into the world. Like just first off, feeling like with everything that was going on in November and in December, I was like, no, why would I now want to bring a kid into this world? Like it almost makes me feel like I'm being selfish, and all of the negative things I can say and think about myself. But also on the other hand, we need people like me and Danielle and people who listen to this podcast to raise children like us so that we can make changes on this planet and in America and go in the right direction, because right now we're not. And so that's another beautiful way to look at it. Do we want more of the people who are causing chaos to procreate? No, we got to start creating those babies. You know what I mean? So yeah, just trying to look at all angles, all stances. I do feel better about that now. I've done a lot of work around it, feeling my feelings specifically. And yeah, I also don't know, me and Fred were talking about this actually, Dee. I'm just like, there's a lot of responsibility with a man, with a boy that you really got to think about. Whereas not that there's not with a woman or a girl, but like me and Fred both looked at each other like, shit, we have work to do, because we want to show up so that he is kind and loving and cares about women and wants to respect them, and not just women, but everybody. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot specifically, right? I say boys because, as we know, we've grown up in a society where men have typically been the problem. Sorry if you're listening to this and you're a man, and you know, but yeah. So it's a lot of more weight. I feel like, again, not that it's not with a woman or a girl, but yeah.
Yeah. No, and then the climate of boys that'll be in his generation, if we head
Yeah.
in this direction, scares the shit out of me, because we can do so much work at home and they can be indoctrinated by a group of friends online on some Andrew Tate wannabe come up. Like, am I feel the responsibility of making sure that he can see through that and not find himself with those horrendous ideologies, and
Mm-hmm.
to treat women and all people of respect and kindness and love. And right now he is such a loving little boy, and I hope that we're able to continue to keep that in him, because the climate, uh the rhetoric and the things that are already being said to little girls in schools by little boys who hear it at home is terrifying.
Yeah. It holds a lot of weight, literally. Gosh. Enough
Kids, am I
about
right?
enough about kids. Enough about enough about
uh,
November and what's been going on with the world.
yeah.
Just kidding. We're probably gonna
But
continue to talk about it, but yeah.
we have come a long way. And I think
Uh-huh.
that I have come to this place because of the break I took from everything, and um allowing myself to surrender to the flow of the universe, and looking at going back to work as waiting tables and bartending, and not as a step back, but a way to advance myself forward and our family forward in a way that we can continue to work on our goals outside of the other things, and
Yeah.
financially feel secure enough to do all of the things we have been planning and desiring. And it's given us something in a weird way, and given me something in a weird way, where I truly feel like I'm stepping back into this new version of myself in a whole new way, and able to move through all these crazy emotions without fully crashing out, and being able to move through in a positive and a healthy way, and instead of retreating back into kind of a feeling of everything's worthless, there's no point anymore, and kind of turning to old vices and old things. I'm very proud of myself for getting through this without turning to alcohol heavily or doing anything like that. In my past, I did party my way through good
Yeah.
old 2016 election. 2016 to 2020, baby, we were raging, and I just disassociated from all the political shit. But this time around, I have remained clear-headed in a way, and used the tools I have been using to help move forward, and really learned a lot. And I feel like I'm taking those lessons and applying them, instead of just repeating loops of patterns. And that feels good. Even with being in the restaurant, going back to the restaurant industry was one of those that I was nervous about, because it is so party focused. Everyone gets off work, they want to drink with their coworkers, you want to do these things, and like, I have no desire. Thanks, I'll see y'all at the next shift.
Yeah, I love that
And
for
that
you.
feels good.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah. No, I love that for you, seriously. And I mean, I feel the same way, different, right? I've just been really implementing the lessons I've been learning and taking them as they come, and really processing my emotions through them as well. I wanted to touch on how you said like the rest has really helped you, you know, navigate what's next going forward and really integrate everything that you've been learning. And I truly feel like rest is just as important, if not more, than the doing. And I say this because even when it comes to like regulating your nervous system, there's a moment after that you want to take this pause, this rest, just to see, are you feeling better after you just did that regulation? Are you not? What do you do next? And my teacher, because I just finished a nervous system regulation course, and she just talks about how that's so important. That part is so important. Otherwise, you're just going around doing these regulation tools and not knowing really what's helping you and what's not, and what you actually like and what you don't, and what you should be doing next. Because if you're still feeling dysregulated, you want to rest or tap into something that makes you feel good after that, a tolerable step or whatever it is. And so, yeah, I mean, rest is just as important as the actual doing. And as we know, right, in this society, it's just hustle culture. Always go, go, go. Always have to be on. Always need to be doing something. And I think in our last course that we took together, no shade at all, loved my coach, loved our coach. But it was a lot of that hustle and grind. And now that I'm in the space where we're not in that anymore, I'm just feeling like, oh, I can actually show up however I want and however that feels good to me. And that feels good. Like, I don't feel
Yeah.
this pressure to always be on or always be offering something, always be creating. I feel more so the pull towards what I feel like creating, the pull and guidance towards the universe, what's next for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, not feeling that pressure, you know? So yeah, the rest is just really, really important. And I'm really proud of both of us. I mean, obviously I'm pregnant, so I haven't been drinking, but I wouldn't be drinking anyway. I've been sober
Yeah.
for a while now. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast or when I started this. Oh, I started September 1st. So maybe I have talked about it in that last episode. But yeah, I'm still going strong. Yes, I know I'm pregnant, but I would still be going strong no matter what. I'm really proud of myself. And this is breaking a generational cycle for me personally. I mean, I grew up in a household where it was party, 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 and both my parents were alcoholics. I would still say one of them is still, and I'm just kidding. She's not as bad, but it's a lot of drinking, and it's not just in my family, but in society. You constantly see that
Yeah.
as something that is easy to turn to. And, oh, you had a long day at work. Fine, let's have a couple drinks. Oh, you're going through an emotional time. Have some drinks. Let's go out. Let's party. But I'm just really proud of myself. I'm proud of us for breaking that cycle for our children. Like, no longer having them see that drinking is something you can turn to, but actually processing your emotions is the best thing you can do for yourself. Because that's mainly why we end up drinking and suppressing, is because we're not processing the emotions that we feel.
Yep.
We think they're too big. We're too scared of them. Don't get me wrong. You don't need to process 24 fucking 7. We are human. Okay. But just processing as you see fit. So maybe it's like in this episode, which I don't feel this, I feel very calm here, but let's say I was feeling anxiety. And instead of me trying to process it right then and there, I take it as it is. I keep going. And after, if I'm still feeling that anxiety, I can process it then, or I can just process it later in the week. If I knew that's when it came up, I can kind of think about that moment, bring it up, have that emotion come up. Because no matter what, if we're not processing the energy of that emotion, it's going to stay within our body. So you can always bring it up intentionally, however you want, closing your eyes, tuning into where you felt it or that moment that you were in. And so, yeah, I'm just proud of us. And I'm really glad that
Me too.
we're breaking cycles, not just in not drinking, but so many ways, so many ways. Regulation in general, showing up as our truest, authentic self, coming on the podcast, doing what we can to help the collective. All of these things were not shown to us. We are the ones leading that. And it wasn't shown to us in any of like our family members, not our,
No.
well, I guess your dad, I guess, followed his dreams, but different.
Yes. Yes, my dad is a big example for me on following your dreams and what can happen when you truly trust the universe. He would say trust God completely. And I am in awe of some of the things he does. And even if he doesn't call it, he definitely is a master manifester. I will definitely give him that. When he has a vision, it happens. He'll write what he wants to make on a little note and put it on the fridge. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's manifestation. Which he would be like, that's God. And I'm like,
And I
yes,
guess,
and
yeah.
manifestation.
In a sense,
But
though, right? God, Christ consciousness, like it is all very
yeah,
similar with spirituality. They teach a lot of the same things. And I guess same with my mom. She's the one who handed me the Secret, the book,
yeah,
and that's how I started reading it. And that's all about manifestation and law of attraction. So yeah, I mean, there's ways that we were shown, but like we are showing up in completely
in
different
different
ways.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Give
It's
ourselves a
really
little
nice.
hug, a little pat on the back. Look at us.
I
Our
am.
partners too. Proud of our
Yeah,
partners.
I am. My partner's come a long way, and how he's handled and moved through his own like emotions around all of this has been really admirable is the word I'm looking for, and it has brought us closer, and it has almost in a way like I don't know, it was so much stress that it almost like broke us, and then all of a sudden we were like, hey, it's not that bad. And all of a sudden, like, we're like, the tension's gone. There's not as
Yeah.
much, like, we're laughing more together. We're watching less TV. We're talking more. We're communicating more. It's been a blessing in all ways. And it's just another receipt for my book and another reminder that our hardest times do lead to really crazy breakthroughs in ways that you never understand or could guess. And I did never had him being at home right now and me at work and Oliver in a daycare. In my 2025 playbook, we're also planning our first festival return since
Cool.
having Oliver, and since 2020, honestly, we went to one day at LBW when I was pregnant, but I was 7 months
That doesn't
pregnant and
count.
my
Yeah.
feet were hurting so bad. We're actually going to Grizz's Seven Stars Festival, and it's a camping festival in Virginia, and I'm really excited. And even planning something like that that's like for us without like, before we don't do a lot of stuff for us. It's felt very much so like it's got to be with Oliver, for Oliver. And while that's important, we are still important as a couple and as human beings and not just parents. And being able to step out of that and plan something for ourselves and go has been another big thing. So everything happens for a reason. And truly, I feel like we're in a new space despite all the chaos. It's like the best and worst of times all in one. And that's the duality of life.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys, and I'm jealous because I should be going, but not pregnant. Well, actually, I would have just had the baby.
Yeah,
but I'm like being
yeah,
the
right.
trenches.
Yeah,
So
you'd be in the trenches, but
you
I'm
know
gonna come
what?
see
Might
you
as
and my
well.
baby.
Might as well just go leave the baby with Fred.
Fuck
No,
it.
I'm just kidding. What
No.
was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I wanted to mention that also when we were doing the gender reveal. If you haven't seen my
Oh yeah.
videos on, if you haven't seen my TikTok or my Instagram or Facebook, I had posted a little video of us. I didn't actually post the ending, but I've talked about it anyway. We found out it was a boy. We did a little cake gender reveal. It was super cute. We just did it last Saturday.
Yeah, that's Saturday.
And it was cute, very intimate. The first one we did was like fireworks and his whole family. And so I wanted this time just to be us and our little family. And so me, him, and Harper stuck the little, what are they called? The little drink
Cups,
cup.
like champagne flutes.
Champagne. There you go. There you go. And we stuck them in and they got them out. And actually, I kind of want to tell this story. When I was because I wanted to take a lot of pictures before we got in and took pictures ourselves. And so I took the cake out, and she had told me to keep the cake in the fridge if we're not using it. But I was taking so many pictures and like we were doing other things at the time. I mean, there's a toddler running around, and I noticed there was blue leaking out of the side. And I was like, oh, and I immediately started crying. And I was like, I saw it. And he's like, how? I was like, it's leaking. And I was like, just stay over there. I'm going to clean it up. So he didn't get to see it. He actually saw it in real time when we did the little thing. But where was I going with that? I don't know. I just saw it beforehand. But after that, we were just sitting there and he proposed to me. And so now we're engaged. I would show you the ring, but I'm not used to wearing it. I did not put it on this morning. I need to get in the habit. I don't really wear jewelry. And so
I know.
I need to get in the habit of wearing it every day. He came home yesterday. He's like, you don't love me? And I'm like, bruh. I'm like, of course I love you. I'm sorry. And I put it on real quickly. But yeah, we're engaged. And I'm really excited about that too. A lot of beautiful things going on in both of our lives. And
yeah, I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, me too. Don't know what we'll do yet.
Married.
Don't have too many friends, so the wedding will probably be small. Maybe even destination wedding. We really talked about that. It could be in Mexico. This is something we'd have to like make sure it's planned out so everyone has money to go, all of the things. But also I just want it to be like one giant party, like just a good time with my friends and family, like everyone who loves us to celebrate us, and
that's a vibe.
Also just like have a good time on the beach or whatever we feel like doing. And so yeah, that's the vibe, and that's where life is at for me right now. Did not expect this in 2025. Did I? A little bit, the engagement. I was hoping. But or I guess just kept asking. Oh.
Daniel.
No.
Daniel was like, oh hell. I was like, what? And he was like, timeline has begun. I was like, whose? He was like, mine.
No, Fred was like, all right. And Danielle and Daniel, when they're there, I'm like, babe, just chill. Like,
he was like, that was the first thing he said. He was like, y'all want to do everything together. I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
destination
now that
wedding.
you mention it, I was
No,
like,
literally.
he's hoping I was jumping on the second child train before the
Oh
engagement train.
yeah. Oh, I bet. I
I was like,
bet
fat
these
chance,
men.
buddy, but a ring, maybe.
No, literally, should have. Well, never mind. I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
I'm
Okay, okay.
excited too. Everyone give me all the nephews. That's both of my best friend and my really close best friend Charleston. Now I get 2 newborns to snuggle this year. I'm so excited.
Her baby is so cute. I want to hold him. I
I
want to
know
squeeze him.
he's perfect.
I love those pictures they took with the little surfboard.
I
So cute.
know.
I got to do that. Even though
Yeah.
we don't live by the beach, but I still want to do it because it's a part of my
Yeah.
family.
Do it for your dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love this episode. Do you want to add anything else, Dee?
No, just the overall moral of the story is when life puts you in the trenches and you're crashing out, just ride the wave, bro.
Literally.
No,
Surrender to what is.
but it quite literally is what it is. And stressing and worrying about it, and as hard as I know it is, I've heard it many times where I'm like, how do I just stop stressing and worry? There comes a breaking point where you can really just be like, actually, that's what I told Dakota at one point. I was like, I'm just choosing not to stress. I'm just choosing not to worry about it. I'm choosing to trust, and I'm choosing to lean into the rituals and the things that make me feel good. I made myself a money jar. I was meditating on it and journaling on it, and putting full trust into the things that make me feel good about it and bring me closer. And I think that has helped a lot. And I know that's the same whenever you found out you're pregnant. It's just leaning into it and allowing yourself to trust that this journey is being unfolded in front of you for a reason, and that even if it feels scary and overwhelming and like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, there truly is. It just might be dim right now.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Lean into it. I mean, that's all you can in both of our situations. That's all we can do, right? And a lot of the situations that I'm sure any of you are going through too is just lean in, as uncomfortable as that may be, because in the uncomfortableness, we grow, we rise higher, we level up. And yeah, just also, if you're feeling like you're really stressing and you're going through a hard time, know that whatever you're feeling and experiencing is fucking valid. And
Yes.
maybe you just need a fucking break. Okay. What's
Yeah.
going on in the world is a lot. We all deserve a break. Take the breaks. Go slow. Like the always saying that we always say, if you want to go fast, go slow, or something like that, right?
Yeah. If you want to go fast, go slow. As far as election things and the country, follow one trusted news source. You don't have to follow them all. You don't have to check them all every day. Really honor your mental health in this time, because it is heavy. It's a lot. And trust that while it might feel like, especially if you're someone who lives in a red city, in a red state, it might feel like you're surrounded by people who you can't trust, or that you don't understand, that you don't care, or those things. Just know that there's so many of us who do, and there's so many of us crashing out collectively together. It just might not feel like it in your immediate zone, but just know you're not alone. The whole country has not gone crazy. There is a significant amount of us who are wondering what the fuck is happening too. So we love you and we see you and we're here for you. And if you need a friend, we're both always here for you. And we make no promises to know what's going on or how to deal with it fully, but there are ways to move through it in healthy ways, for sure.
Absolutely. We love you guys. Thank you so much for always being here and giving us, the space that we needed during this time, as we give you guys the same respect and space. So I love you guys. And yeah, reach out to us if you need anything. Also, let us know what you want us to talk about next. I think one that just came through here, I will be honest, is about boundaries. I think a really good one could be boundaries, kind of going off of what's going on in the world, but also just in so many areas of our lives. And so maybe we'll talk about boundaries next. But if you have any recommendations or any topic that you feel like you're struggling with currently, let us know. We'll talk about it on the podcast. And if you want to be on the podcast, please let us know. We would love to have you on.
Absolutely. And again, thank you guys for always supporting us and sticking through all of our ups and downs and rest moments. And we will be back with another episode soon. So stay tuned. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok to stay informed. and leave us reviews and let us know if you like it, and send it to friends if it resonated, or it might resonate with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess we'll check y'all soon on the next episode.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Bye.